So we're going to go ahead and start with the second topic.
And that's my topic this time. And basically what I'm doing for the next couple weeks is I've already done it for this week, so I'm not. Hopefully next time I'll have them to draw. But got a box, drawn. I have every console in there that we have all played. And I don't have the Commodore 64 on there.
ColecoVision.
I don't have that stuff. But basically from Nintendo on up in there, we'll draw one. Whatever it is, we'll talk about our most memorable game from that console. Because there's a lot of memorable games you look back and you're fond of. But what's the one that you remember the most? And the one I drew this week is the Super NES. So just to get things started, my most memorable one, just off the top of my head, is probably Mario RPG. And it came out towards the end of that NES. And don't get me wrong, I played a lot of good games in there, but I just remember that game being so good. And I was never really a big Mario fan, but I was like, this. That's when I really realized I'm an RPG guy. That game made me think, man, I love RPGs. So that's my favorite game. What about you?
Well, favorite game is different than favorite memory.
Most memorable. Okay, when I look back fondly, that's the most memorable.
When I look back, I go, oh, yeah, Super Mario World. No, that's not my most fond memory. My most fond memory is of the classic Super Nintendo game, Nickelodeon Guts. Nickelodeon Guts for the Super Nintendo was made similar as the Mortal Kombat style with the live-action type camera. But you, of course, played sports, as in the show Nickelodeon Guts. You guys remember?
You could definitely tell he's from a
so. I think
completely
you played it
different
one time.
generation.
I never played it.
So I guess you've never seen the Nickelodeon Guts.
I remember the television show, but
yeah,
I did
the television.
not know that they had a game with digitized graphics.
It had the digitized graphics where you had different little mini games. You had the people on the harnesses playing the basketball where they jump and had to dunk it. You had to climb the mountain, the crag mountain. You had to go to mow with the leaderboards. But this game was so terrible. But at the time, I know probably a lot of you guys, when you got a game, whether it was good, whether it was bad, you had to play it. Because when I had the Super Nintendo, I was like 7. I didn't get a lot of games when I was 7. So what I had to play. So I had to get the high score of the Crag Mountain, because that's all I had to do.
Now, Mikey, you and me are from the same generation.
Yeah.
We grew up, our first console was the Nintendo, and we were at the right age to really be able to appreciate its abilities. For the Super Nintendo, what was your most memorable game?
Most memorable?
When you look back, what's the most fond, your fond memories of a game?
Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
That is a good game.
I mean, yeah, it's a very good game, and like you said, I played a lot of great games on there, but it had so much exploring and puzzles and everything like that, and good soundtrack, and like whenever I first started playing it, I wasn't expecting to have to go to like the Dark World. It was just, okay, you got to go and beat these first 3 or 4 castles or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to go rescue Zelda and everything like that. And then she get zapped out of there and everything. You're like, what? And then, bam, the whole world changes. You have a whole new set to explore, 7 new dungeons, and you just have to go at it. But, that one, and then the one that actually got me into the RPGs was Final Fantasy VI.
6, that's a good one.
Yeah, 6 was
a lot of people give 7 as the epiphany of Final Fantasy 7, or Final Fantasy games, but yeah, 6.
Now, when you say 6, do you mean?
I mean 3 on the
3 Japanese, 4.
3
Europe, 7.
Japanese, 6.
It's all over the place.
Now, which one is the one with the chocobo racing?
That's
and
7.
And the farm.
That's 7.
God, I love the chocobos, people. Send me.
You like some deep fried.
It's true. Nothing's more tastier than a farm-raised chocobo.
But see, everything's better when it's deep fried, though. That's true. Like, I want to go to the fair and get a deep fried Twinkie just because they have them.
So yours is in that Link game. You can't really argue. I mean, if you did a top 10 NES games, there's no doubt in my mind that would be in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, that would be.
Sure.
I mean, even though it's not my most, it definitely is a memorable game for me. And that, I mean, eventually I think we should do a top 10 of each console after this. I think that'd be
fun to do.
But that game, there's no doubt that game's one of the top 2. There might be one that might beat it out. I'd have to think about it and just not think.
Well, easy. Tiny Toons Wacky Adventures.
See, different generation, dude.
Yeah,
different generation.
I mean, it's no Tiny Toons Olympics, but it's a good one.
I had Tiny Toons on regular Nintendo, and I played
Did you
it
have
for like
Tiny
5
Toon
months.
Olympics?
I had
Those
the
are horrible
Cartoon
games.
Workshop, buddy.
Those are
Ah,
horrible
okay.
games.
Yeah.
What about you, Lucas?
I think my most memorable Super Nintendo game would probably be Super Mario Kart. I really enjoyed that one. And what makes it memorable for me is, well, the Super Nintendo was my first console that I ever had.
Yeah.
My parents, before that, didn't want us playing video games, and so they finally one Christmas got us that. And this one of the games that came with it was Super Mario Kart, and man, we just played the crap out of that game.
That was a good
It
game.
was a good
still,
game.
Still holds up today.
Oh, it
Yeah.
still does.
Yeah.
And I wish I could, get it. I mean, I'm having a hard time finding it.
You can get it on the Wii U Virtual Console for $11.
But yeah,
Act now,
different.
folks.
That's different than
I think I really enjoyed the battles that you could do on the Super Mario.
Yeah,
Kart.
we have the new Mario Kart, and the battles aren't the same.
No,
No.
the new battles are
They
garbage.
just use the same track, and you're just driving back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the
There's
battle
no- there-
arenas.
There's no block for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's
Block
no
force.
the
The
arena
level-
is
the
what
level-
made it so fun.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Block fort's the epitome of Mario Kart battles.
Okay, well, see, whenever I think about Mario Kart on the SNES, I always think about Rainbow Road Rage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rainbow
Because that level just.
I love the Ghost stage. That was my favorite.
That one
the
was
Ghost
good
stage.
too. Yeah.
I loved and I love all the little shortcuts.
Yeah,
in there,
that
you know?
little part in the ghost stage where you can jump across.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That one was awesome.
You know, in the new one, they have little shortcuts, but they're not that effective. They're not
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And the new one too is kind of cheap. The guys will catch up with you even though you're way ahead. You know, what I hate about the new one the most is if you're in last place, you get all these awesome items. If you're in first, you get coins.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it should be randomized. It shouldn't be based.
Right.
You know,
Based on-
let me
the
win
only
with
thing-
skill. Don't screw me over
Yeah.
by giving somebody a blue damn shell.
Yeah, the only thing I was about to say just about that, I think the only time that you should not get that is when you are in first place.
Yeah,
You know.
I think the blue shell should be put into the rotation, but the way the game is set up is if you're in last place, the percentage of chance of you getting something like that is higher. I don't think the percentage should be higher. I think it should be just in the rotation for you.
I think
Right.
the last Mario Kart game that I actually played was Double Dash on the GameCube.
Oh, Double Dash.
That one was pretty fun. But
Such a great idea. But they never visited it again.
yeah.
Sort of like the GameCube. Now, if we're going to talk about the SNES, we have to talk about one of the greatest games on there. Cool Spot.
See,
Do you guys remember Cool
Again,
Spot?
Yeah.
he's just picking bad games.
No.
'Cause he
Cool
thinks it's
Spot.
funny.
Cool Spot.
That game was horrible. You had a time.
I mean-
I need a game of time.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
I've rented it once.
Yeah, let me explain here.
Once.
My dad took me to a warehouse market to rent a Super Nintendo game back when apparently Warehouse Market rented video games. And Cool Spot was the only one they had. Cool Spot, if you don't know, was the logo for 7-Up, who apparently needed his own video game.
Sorry.
Cool Spot was fantastic. You had your little guy had his sunglasses and his white gloves. He had to go to the beach.
It was a red dot with feet and hands.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Don't get me wrong. Spot was pretty cool. I remember in school I used to draw him all the time. When I
It
was
was a dot
instead of
with
doing
hands
school.
and feet.
And he had sunglasses.
He had
But
sunglasses.
the game was terrible.
Yeah.
The game was terrible. You had Mr. Krabs in there trying to get you. You're at
Yeah.
the beach. It's a horrible game. Which really, these games he's talked about really make me doubt his ability to distinguish a good game from a really bad game.
Well, see, at the same time, though, that's kind of all personal preference. If you have fun playing it, even if it's terrible crap, I mean,
Yeah.
and you still have a good
Well-
time at it. I mean, that's what makes.
Well,
a good
he was
game to
also
me.
7, so
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
all fairness.
it's not like I'm playing Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, okay? Or Deadly Towers. I understand what a bad game is. It's just you.
But
have
you
play
need to want to
bad.
talk about bad games.
I
This is
think
what concerns me.
I think one of the worst games I've ever played on the Super Nintendo was Jurassic Park.
Oh, that was a
Oh,
horrible
God.
I
game.
hated that.
That was a
I
horrible
hated that
game. Yeah.
game.
There's not
There's
really
a lot of bad games out there.
There's not really any good Jurassic Park games.
The one on the
No.
Genesis was a whole lot better.
But it
You had
wasn't
the raft
good.
scene and
They were all still bad, though.
Even
Yeah.
the one for the 360.
the Telltale's Jurassic
yeah,
Park.
that one
That
was
one was okay.
that one was okay, but it wasn't the best.
Back before Telltale hit their winning formula of
Quick
instant
time.
money.
Well, before they started getting higher or more popular titles that they could do.
Yeah.